All right, welcome back to the Athens Film Festival 2025 Creator Interviews. Today I'm joined by Ben Filler, director of the short documentary Birding with Brian. Ben, thanks so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Yay, awesome. Well, I guess we'll just start at the beginning here. What first drew you to Brian as a subject for this documentary?
Well, Brian's my best bud. We've known each other since high school, and I've always kind of been fascinated with his fascination in birds or birding. Um, particularly his bird calls were something that always I found entertaining, and I needed a project for my final for Oakland Community College, and I went with him. My go-to guy, my buddy, and it paid off.
Awesome, awesome. No, it's definitely like I love hearing about people who are interested and, well versed in certain areas. Like a nature documentary was always going to hit for me. What were exactly like? It was a just a documentary project, and you were able to choose your own subject for it. Then.
Yeah, so this was my final in my third film class at OCC. Um, I actually did things out of order, so I did my special projects the semester before, and that was on a mini golf tournament that my friends do, and that was really successful. People liked it. I kind of found like my niche in sort of activities that people might just on the surface seem kind of like mundane or like sort of like I got a lot of inspiration from sort of the Christopher Guest mockumentaries of like
Mm.
A Mighty Wind or Best in Show. I kind of wanted to do something like that, but not necessarily not a mockumentary on like real life people because
Mm.
oftentimes the truth is stranger than fiction, as they say. So, uh, yeah, mini golf to birding, you know, I don't know. Maybe next I want to do like a bowling thing or something, but
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I love that you have like a bit of mockumentary inspiration. There's definitely a bit of like comedy, even just in the intro with the like static kind of cuts in between takes. It's even if not comedy, just like some like charm and down to earth feelings because of it.
thank you for
Uh,
saying that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
interesting. So I originally had those as kind of outtake bloopers at the end in my first cut, and my professor was like, "You should put those at the beginning because they do
Ah,
exactly what you said. They kind of, yeah, kind of like humanize him, give him like they kind of introduce who he is right up front." So
absolutely. Yeah, it makes it's a really interesting like, introduction to
oh,
somebody to like
I
catch
froze.
them. Oh, all good.
Yeah, I'm not Am I frozen on your point? Okay,
No, no worries.
because I have the goofiest face frozen right here. But okay.
It's been raining over here. I don't know where you are, but we've
Oh,
had some weather too. So it records on the website and we
great,
edit.
good, good.
No worries.
Sorry.
No worries. But yeah, absolutely. I think, having an interesting character, that's a real person, kind of bringing them down to earth for us to, ground us in who this person is. How did you go about, showing this really compelling relationship that Brian has with nature on screen? I mean, we get this introduction to who he is, but what was kind of your thesis, I guess, behind showing this individual?
Yeah, being so close with him, it really helped a lot. I mean, I didn't really have to do that much to bring that out with him. He's a natural extrovert. Um,
Mm.
he's I didn't I only kind of really recently realized like a lot of my other projects he's also in somehow, whether it's like his music. So he's just I kind of just lucked out. I definitely, you know, I've learned in my education and through experience ways to like kind of like coax people to be more, feel more comfortable with the cameras and stuff like that. I really didn't have to do any of that with this project. It's just, and I think he felt actually okay. That's not totally true.
Oh,
That's sometimes when you're thinking back on things, it doesn't. I did have to get. He does get self conscious actually, and I were a number of times where I had to, but uh, I guess I'm just used to that with him. So it didn't seem like anything to me. I felt very comfortable, but I like to think I'm that way with strangers too. Like I can kind of make anybody feel comfortable. I think it's just something I'm good at. I was a bartender for many years, so that was, I
oh
think,
yeah.
helpful. It's like amateur psychologist. It translated well, I think. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. I used to be a waitress, so somewhat similar, kind of just trying to get people to be open and like a little bit trusting with you. It kind of, you want to invite them to bring themselves out more in, this documentary, obviously more than at a restaurant. Um,
sometimes it
but
depends on the restaurant, right? No. Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. And my friends, I mean, with my when I did um, the golf documentary, that was so many more people, and so it was like herding cats is such a great analogy for that, especially with my friends because they like to kind of mess with people, especially if they're on camera.
yeah,
They'll totally play a part. But with the birding documentary, I think it was just a lot more just me and my buddy, like kind of like an intimate like,
yeah.
and then nature, which is the
Mm.
best.
All right. Jumping back in here, I guess. What was there anything while following Brian during his routines that surprised you? Obviously, you have this bond and that kind of guided you a lot through this process, it sounds like. But was there anything about seeing this side of him that opened your eyes? Anything surprising here that you observed?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I've known him for a long time, and I've known about his passion for birding. But like he says in the documentary, this is an idea that he's had for as long as I've known him, and he's talked about, and uh, but we've never actually done it. He's talked about it and talked about it. We've never actually like gone out and let him do his thing. And I guess I mean, it was kind of familiar and strange at the same time because I was kind of had ideas of what to expect, and then, but I mean, uh, his level of, I mean, it really is his happy place, and somebody can tell you about how much they enjoy something so much, but when you actually get to see them in that moment, it's really something else.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like I can't imagine like just as a filmmaker but also as a friend to see that. Um,
Yeah.
what a cool.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, not that I didn't respect him before, but I gained more respect for him, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I
Appreciation, I should say, not respect. I gained more appreciation of him.
yeah.
So,
No, I love that. Amazing. And how much time did you guys spend together for this filming process, actually?
for the actual filming process, it was conceptualized and completed in a 2 week period, uh, which, that was is very different from other things I've had where I mean you generally, I mean, again with the golf one, it was conceptualized, and but it was conceptualized in over a very long period, but we only had one day to shoot. This one we had 2 weeks, and though to be candid, I had probably the whole semester I could have been working on it, but I decided that I really had. Oh no, now you're
Way
cut
back,
out.
way back.
Oh my gosh, are you? Okay, okay. Um, what was I saying? So, uh, yeah, I kind of was like, oh boy, I got 2 weeks left. This is going to be, but I kind of knew it would work. And yeah, I think in the interview process was just, I mean, I think I have 2 hours of just talking head. And then a few. I think we went out 3 times. Um, once was just in his backyard, which is like a
Mhm.
completely serene place. His parents'
Yeah.
backyard. It's actually funny. That's one of the kind of like big jokes in there is just like, yeah, I'm a 36-year-old man living at home, you know. But since then, he's got his own house and a dog, and he's like, he's already doing fine, but he's
Oh,
thriving right
awesome.
now.
Oh, that's so
So
nice to hear.
yeah, I wish he was coming
Yeah,
with,
I was about to
honestly.
ask.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but he's got the business. He runs a sustainable gardening business, which is
Yeah.
perfect. So
Oh my goodness. What
yeah.
a fascinating, like, really in tune with nature type of person that you found to be the subject for this. I mean, did you have any, like, planning or like locations or birds even in particular you knew you wanted to capture? Or did you just kind of follow him wherever he and his binoculars wanted him to go?
Actually, the season that we were filming in was
Oh,
not the best. It was fall, so it wasn't like we
yeah.
had a lot of options. A lot of the better shots are actually from our archival from his footage because he's
Mhm.
been doing this for years. So that's why there's some like cell phone footage in there. I usually prefer not to do cell phone stuff, um, but he had some really great stuff in there. So I generally most of the shots I got were of him alone or with there's a couple really good ones I have where you have the sounds of the birds, but I really couldn't be too picky with 2 weeks to like be like, okay, we have to get a shot of a finch or something like that. I remember trying to get these shots of finches, and I was like, we don't have time.
Gosh, not enough time for the birds. How sad.
I mean, you
Them
can't
all, can't
control
get
it.
them
It's Mother
all.
Nature.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, birding, we've learned, I feel like I didn't really understand an enormous amount before this. And you see how it can be, solitary, but also deeply connective. And were there any, themes in particular that you were trying to, explore on purpose? I mean, I feel like I got a lot of things of like purpose, patience, solitude, appreciation for nature. All of those were very present. What was there a thesis for you going into this of things you wanted to show?
I think that the loneliness aspect was a big thing. Like his like kind of like uh, persevering through loneliness as but like to me, and this was actually I like my written thesis with the golf one as well was like I have a lot of uh, like male friends that are not toxic and like but are lonely, but they like don't there are guys out there that aren't like awful because of male loneliness. I know now it might mean something else, but to me that seemed like a big thing because I heard that being talked about a lot, especially like older men like trying to make friends, and it's like I have a really good group of friends, mostly male, that are like they're good guys, and they don't feel that they've been uh, screwed or anything out of or like they're entitled to anything. They're like good people that get through life. And so that was really important to me. I don't know how much they came through, um, but Brian's one of those exactly like that. Like he's a good guy, and he is going through a lonely period. And I think we all do sometimes. Especially as we get older. But you can there's productive ways to like find that and like find community and find um, a positive outlet, and I think that was really
No,
important to me.
absolutely. I mean, I
So
feel that's especially relevant because, yeah, it's been talked about quite a bit, but I mean, even if you're not a man, I feel like everybody is kind of increasingly alienated these days. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, Yeah. There was, I remember specifically hearing a story though, when I was trying to come up with something and for the first film, and uh, there was a story on NPR like about men and like not being able to make friends, and I'm like, really? Like I got a ton of really
Mhm.
good friends, and I see them less and
Yeah.
less these days. And Brian and I talk pretty often, more often than
Mhm.
my other friends, but uh, quite often we're like, man, remember, we used to all just kind of hang out. And I don't know if it's, like just the product people after COVID and
Yeah.
screens and stuff, and but activities, outdoor activities, a great thing that there seems to be less of, and the more I can promote that, the
Yes.
better.
Oh my goodness. And I love that myself too. I mean, it felt like, in this very kind of loud, fast-paced world we are in now, that there was a lot for us to get from just watching someone like quietly and attentively observe something. The care that was involved in that, it felt like things can be lonely but still purposeful, I guess, too. And I felt
Hmm.
like, yeah, you're right, promoting, in a way like that there are outlets and, beautiful things to still do and give our attention to. Because I feel like it's also easy for us to become lonely and then kind of cloister in even more, and not even think to go outside or do anything in that. Um,
Absolutely. I don't know. Are you
yes,
in
yes.
Georgia? So I don't know if it's gotten there, but I'm in the Metro Detroit area, and the weather right now
Mhm.
is perfect. But there's these Canadian wildfires, and so the air quality is just terrible right now, and it's so frustrating. I'll go outside and like this is the most perfect weather, and then
Yeah.
it's like I can see the
Oh my
smog.
gosh.
It's
Yeah, I
bad.
think it's gotten here. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been just raining nonstop here for a little bit.
Well, that's what
But
you're saying.
but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think even more to that, it's like, we have nature as this thing that's accessible, but it's also in danger. And I think a lot of our loneliness is that we want to do things with people, but it costs money to do a lot of things. Nature tends to be pretty
Yeah.
free. I mean, there seem to be a little, less encumbering cost involved in birding, other than the binoculars and a few things.
And I mean, you don't even really if you're I don't have I've listened to the interviews of Brian that did not make the cut in there, but there's so much that he talks about it as far as like his philosophy on burning. I wish I got more. I think if we do it, I'd like to do
Yeah.
some follow ups, but part of his philosophy is kind of like you don't need. It's like, yeah, if you want to check off the list, there are hardcore
Mm.
birders, and he has some great stories, kind of like making fun of that a bit because he's very self deprecating and in turn deprecating to to others, but in a funny
Yeah.
way. Uh, but part of his philosophy is like he's like, yeah, I'll just birding for me is like I'll see a bird like when I'm driving to Kroger and I'll like decide, you know what? I don't got anything better to do. I'll pull over and like kind
Yeah.
of like just hang out, you know. So yeah, it doesn't cost a thing. And there's plenty of other activities that don't cost anything. But you're definitely right. It costs more to go out and do pretty much anything else.
I love that
So
it's you made something accessible. You made a film, you made a documentary which is accessible, and it's, on YouTube for people, about something that's also pretty accessible for most people, at least in this, time period right now, as long as we protect it. Um, but I mean, what would you hope, I guess, also, that the feeling people have when they leave this, watching this film would be like? What do you think? What do you hope for their thoughts to be like? The takeaway.
uh, I mean, I have had this will be my Southern United States premiere of the film. I did get to see it in a theater full of strangers
Mm.
in Michigan, and that for me was one of the best feelings I've ever had because when you're working with a friend like that, you don't always know if like am I the only one who thinks he's funny? Am I the only one who like sees the his beauty, you know, and not, you know what I mean? Um, and sitting in a room full, a theater full of strangers, and like hearing them laugh at the same jokes, and kind of like you can hear like the remarks, you can feel it, um, and the reception I've gotten so far has just been so good. So the more of that that gets out there in the world, the better. It's definitely a feel good film, and in return, as the filmmaker, it feels great to experience um, that through others
Yes. Oh my
vicariously.
gosh, that's
So
so heartwarming to hear. I'm so glad that you've had that experience and that we can help facilitate that even more here at the festival.
super excited, and there's some really good birding down there. I really wish he
Yeah, we
would
do have
come with
some.
me.
I have birds. I don't remember what they're called, but I call them the 4 a.m. birds. You hear them if you're up early. It's not a morning dove, it's
Okay.
something else. But if you're up early for a festival, you might hear them. Um,
Yeah, I wish he was here. He would might be like, "Oh, it's
I know. I
probably
feel
a
like they
robin," you know.
know.
But I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
know.
oh my goodness, we are looking forward to it so much. Um, Yes,
Me
and
too.
thank you so much for, talking with me. I guess as we're wrapping up here a little bit, I'll also ask you just like what's next for you? Where are you going when your creative process, more documentaries, more nature-focused documentaries, other friends or hobbyists that you want to spotlight?
Yeah, well, I have a year left at University of Michigan, Dearborn, and I actually just yesterday I interviewed, and I'm 99.9% sure I got a job with the Interactive
Oh,
Storytelling Hub, so which is part of the not interactive. I'm sorry, inclusive, which is part of the
wow.
Inclusive History Project. So that'll be I I do actually very much like interactive story stuff, and I have been doing a little bit of work with that. But um, yeah, I mean that I'm really excited if I get this, and I'm like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get this with the Inclusive Storytelling Hub, which covers a lot of stuff. But it's going to be great to work with a team because everything I've done so far has pretty much just been me, as far as like the editing and the so a lot of the production.
Well, how
But yeah, so that's my
Oh
next
my
thing, I
gosh. Well,
think.
how exciting. That's so great to hear. I mean, I love that. I love to hear like what people are going to get up to next after this. And where can people find out more about you and your projects? Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, anything.
Yeah, so actually, I've been working on all summer. I've been working on a website. So bbfiller.com, bbfiller.com, and that's got some of my films, some of my art. Um, it's definitely a work in progress, but it kind of links to everything so
Awesome. Well,
far.
we'll
So
link that for everybody
yeah,
below here. Um, yeah,
cool.
thank you so much for talking with me. It's been great, even with a few tech issues. It's been lovely to hear more about this.
Yeah,
Not your
sorry about
fault.
that.
No worries. But thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me about this project. And we are so excited to have it screen at
Thank
this
you.
festival in our southeast, premiere here.